Hello. Listen, it's not realistic for you to always be happy. You're not always going to be in a good mood. It's not realistic for you to always be super optimistic and hopeful. Some days you're going to have bad days. Some days are going to be more difficult than others. Some days you're going to be healing very difficult emotions. You're going to have a lot of anger come up. You're going to have a lot of grief come up, sadness, or, some days you're going to be more anxious than others. This is part of the healing process. Okay? And so there are people out there that are telling you, you must always be happy and you must always be optimistic. Don't listen to them. This is false information, okay? When you are healing, okay, when somebody that's telling you you must always be happy and you must always be optimistic is somebody who's telling you you must bypass your emotions and focus on this instead of honoring what's there. And when you're bypassing your emotions, you're not going to heal. People who are telling you to bypass your emotions are people who are stuck in cycles where they're not healing. Okay? These are the same people that are going to make excuses for why they're doing negative things to other people. They're going to say, the dark forces are taking over me. The negative forces are taking over me. The negative forces are taking over you because you're bypassing them. You're bypassing them. You're not honoring them when they want to be acknowledged and honored, and then they're being triggered out of you in a place where you do not have that emotional regulation. Okay? God has put you through a very intense healing process because you were living with complex PTSD, complex trauma for so long, okay? And you were forced to take on a very passive role in this toxic dynamic for your own survival. You had to take a very passive role. You had to be the people pleaser in that dynamic because that is how you survived. But that's not who you are. You're not a passive person. It actually makes you feel very angry to take on that passive role because it's like repressing all of this emotion. And I am seeing that you have so much repressed emotion from having to live like that for so long. And so God has put you through a very intense healing process where the veil was lifted. You saw things very clearly. Excuse me. Where you saw things very clearly and you were like, I can't take this anymore. I can't be in, it was affecting your well-being and you needed to separate. You put that distance there and you went into this, you were like catapulted into this healing chapter. And you might be fresh in this chapter or you might have been in this chapter for a while. But nonetheless, the emotion that's coming up is very raw emotion for you. It's very raw and it wants to be acknowledged. It wants to be tended to. And there are many different ways for you to do this. Sometimes you have to express that raw emotion and you have to do it in a healthy way. This is how we're regulating our emotions right now, okay? It's not realistic to always be in a good mood and to always be happy, but it is realistic to always be self-aware. And this is what the healing chapter is about, becoming self-aware. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling sad? Do you feel like you need to go in your car and scream at the top of your lungs and get that raw emotion out? Do you you know what I mean? Do you feel like you need to punch a pillow? Do you feel like you need to go for a 3-mile run or go lift some weights? Do you feel like you need to harness that emotion and channel it into something else that is healthy, okay? If you harness that emotion and you're channeling it into something creative or something expressive that's not going to harm another person, that is a very healthy way to express your emotions. Maybe you write things out. Maybe you create, maybe you're artistic. Maybe you are musical. Maybe you're just into the physical body and maintaining your well-being through exercise and weightlifting and, or walking, running, or something like that, hiking, something like that. Maybe you like to dance it out, okay? But sometimes, sometimes when we've got these very difficult emotions and we're feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, sometimes like the best thing to do is like you got to shake it out, or you got to scream it out, you got to yell it out. You know what I mean? Like you really got to like pat it out. Like it needs, sometimes I think that's why running is helpful for people who have got a lot of pent up or repressed emotions, like bouncing, like that shaking motion, like constantly like hitting the pavement helps release that stuff. But for me, sometimes like scream therapy is very helpful. And I actually did some scream therapy yesterday, which is why my voice is a little sore, because I might have taken it a little too far, because I was overstimulated. If my level was here, I had reached that point. I was up here, and I did not want to take that out on anybody. I was like, I am feeling so dysregulated right now. I need to separate myself from the situation, and I need to go in my car, and I need to scream. And it wasn't even like there was anybody else involved in it. It wasn't like my kids were overstimulating me or my partner was overstimulating me. It was just like I was feeling emotionally overwhelmed from my own emotion that still gets kicked up, that I'm healing through. And I knew that the only way that I was going to get that out, because I had gone for a walk, I was writing, I was meditating, I was doing all the things, and it wasn't enough. So I went in my car, and I went and I drove where nobody could hear me, and I screamed, I screamed, and I'm cursing, and I'm like, and I'm just getting it all out. And you know what? I felt better. And then I did a little bit of research on that. And for some people, scream therapy can be very cathartic. Not for everybody. It can be triggering for some people. And if it's triggering for you, then, obviously that's not going to be helpful. But it can release stress. It can release endorphins in your brain. It does kick up your adrenaline. And it can bring a sense of relief and a sense of release. Okay? That's my own personal experience. And there might be some of you who find that helpful. I think there are some of you, because I have seen some comments where people have said, like, I scream like a banshee and I'm in my house, like, like banging pots, screaming, things like that. But I do see you are in this healing process. And the last thing you want to do is bypass your emotions. What you want to do is you want to honor your emotions. Your emotions are coming up because they want to be acknowledged. Okay, they want to be acknowledged. They want you to understand why they're there. Because until you understand why they're there, they're not going to go away. And even when you do understand why they're there, sometimes it takes some time to sift out, because you carried it for so long. You didn't just have one experience that made you feel that way. You had years, multiple experiences of that, especially if this is childhood trauma, repressed emotion from childhood. And then oftentimes the memories also get repressed with the emotion because it's just too hard. So as you start releasing and acknowledging the emotion, then memories will start to resurface, and then you have to tend to yourself through those emotions. You have to give yourself that love that you need. It's very important to love yourself through it. Don't judge yourself through it. And when people come at you saying you must be happy all the time, you must be optimistic all the time, that is very judgmental. That's saying that negative emotions are shameful, and they're not. Negative emotions are there to let you know that an experience you went through was not right to you. It didn't feel good to you. It wasn't fair to you. Negative emotions aren't wrong. And that's a huge distortion in the spiritual community. There's so much spiritual bypassing, and that's why so many people get stuck in this spot where they can't elevate anymore. They can't move forward anymore. It's because they are bypassing the emotions with judgment, and they are attaching shame to emotions when there's already so much shame there. The point is to take it on and say, this happened. I didn't deserve that. It wasn't my fault. This is how I feel about it. It made me feel wrong. It made me feel, it's like you got to shut the door on that emotion in a healthy way and say, no, I'm not in that situation anymore. When I went through it, it was wrong. It wasn't fair. I didn't deserve that. It wasn't healthy love. I wasn't receiving love. And you can understand why it was happening to you based on the person. Like, that person was wounded. That person was mentally unstable, the person that did it to you. And then you give yourself, like, you tend that inner child. You talk to yourself and you say, I protect you now. I am not that child anymore. I am an adult. I am a loving, compassionate, intelligent adult. I can take care of myself now. I protect myself now. I love myself. I love all of who I am. And that could still be a challenge for you. But you are valuable no matter what emotion is coming up for you. And that was something that I put in my Instagram post the other day, the other day, because I don't know when I'm going to be posting this video. But it's like, you are valuable no matter what other people think of you, no matter how you feel that day, no matter what you look like, no matter how much money you make, no matter how many friends you have, no matter what job you have, no matter what, you are valuable. No matter what you went through, no matter what mistakes you made, you are valuable. And the healing process is about teaching yourself and reclaiming that value that you have, and that, like, you are, and that God knows that you are. God created you that way. God loves everything about you, okay? And God knows you have the strength to get through this. And God is with you, healing every single moment, and offering you that love, and listening to your prayers, and offering you that guidance when you need it. That's why I always say, just go to God, give it to God, talk to God, communicate with God. God's not going to get angry with you for being angry about the trauma that you went through. No. God's not going to get angry at you for being angry, for feeling negative emotions. God gave you the negative emotions to feel. But your work is in learning how to regulate them. Regulating them in a way that is positive for you, that is healthy for you, that is loving for you. That's the point. Not staying happy and optimistic every single day. You want to stay hopeful? Go for it. You want to find the gratitude in every situation? Go for it. That's powerful. And even trying to be optimistic, that's powerful also. But if you can't be, don't shame yourself for it, because you're human. And you are in this space where there are so many, we're in this duality. So there's the worst of the worst and the best of the best. And you're here to experience it. And sometimes you're going to experience the worst of the worst, and your mind is not going to be able to reach for that positive. You just have to let it flow out of you. But again, without hurting somebody else. And that's the message. Okay? I love you so much. God loves you so much. God loves everything about you. God knows you have gone through a very difficult time. God knows that your heart hurts emotionally. God knows that you've been mistreated. But God also knows that you are going to get through this to the other side. I know it. God knows it. This is not where you're going to be. And that's why it's like you're not always going to be in this spot. And that's why it is imperative that you honor your emotions as they come up. And if you're in a situation where you cannot, like say you're at work and somebody's really like pushing your buttons and you're feeling overstimulated and you cannot express your emotions at that time, then you make a point when you leave your workplace to go and honor those emotions in a healthy way. Not to do something that's going to self-sabotage or take you back a notch, but something that's going to self-soothe, okay? In a positive way. I love you so much. I'm going to just end the message right there and just know that you have so much guidance and love around you. You have so much support around you. Just ask for it. Ask God. God lives in here, and God is always with you. God has never left you. God never will leave you. And so much of your healing will come from being authentic and connected with God. However you relate to God, okay? Because it doesn't matter how you relate to God as long as you have that relationship. Okay, so I love you so much, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'm sending you so much healing and love and compassion and comfort if you want it. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.